Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayino nityaha tan stitikshasva bharata. 14th verse of second chapter. So he says, when you come into contact with, when your sense organs come into contact with this external world, it will give rise to pairs of opposites. So whether on the physical level, here he uses example of heat and cold. Shita, Ushna is actually, it stands for all pairs of opposites that you will have to face on the physical level. Okay, heat or cold. Then he gives pairs of opposites on the emotional, on the mental level as well. He says sukha and dukkha. So these exposure to these external worlds, pairs of opposites, will naturally give rise to experience of pain or pleasure in us. That is everybody's experience. Some, suppose it's very hot now, summer is coming in India, March, June, that type, extreme heat will start happening. Then people, this unpleasant, people may want to have some place where it's cool. And so it does give rise, some people may experience unhappiness because of the heat as well. So it does give this sukha and dukkha as well in the mind. Here he gives a solution in the verse, but first let us see the issue. How do I don't have to worry about the one side of the coin, because usually we don't mind the sukha, we don't mind having pleasureful or pleasant experiences in life. Nobody complains about pleasant. Here he is also including pleasant, because both pairs of opposites, if I am attached to one, I will reject the other. So the whole idea is to become relatively equal to both. So how do I handle, the question is, how do I handle the unpleasant things in life? More than the pleasant, which you can deal with, how do I handle with the unpleasant? How do I deal with that which is constantly changing, never permanent? Can I control the changes in life? Is it under my control? When a Greek philosopher said, the only constant in life is change, actually. And we find in the moments of happiness, suddenly it changes to a sorrowful moment, unpleasant moment. So whole life is, we're tossed between two things: happiness, sorrow, heat, cold. These pairs of opposites is what we call living. But here he gives us the knowledge here. We cannot blame the pairs of opposites for our unhappiness. What we have to face outside is already Ishvara Shrishti. It is given to us by Ishvara, an order. Whatever you want to call that order, we don't have particular names for it. We have in Sanskrit, but anything you can call it. But it is what I have to face. Swami Dayananda used to say, what is Ishvara. What I have to face is Ishvara. And that I cannot decide, because it is the way it is. I can't keep complaining about the pairs of opposites. The world is built that way. But how do I deal with the pairs of opposites? I have to live with these opposites. I cannot escape from the opposites. How do I face when the unpleasant situations come up? So here is where Krishna gives the solution in this verse itself. This is our problem in life, our inability to handle one side of the coin. So that sorrow. So how do we handle it? So first of all, he says, you recognize that whole life is a time bound existence. Everything has the nature of coming and going, coming and going. So when you're in a happy moment, know that it is going to go one time. This is a fact. It is, nothing lasts forever. It is going to go. It's going to go one time. Similarly, if you're in an unhappy moment, unpleasant time, it is also going to vanish at some point or other. So whole life is about meetings and partings, meetings and partings. Nothing ever is solid and always there. So the arrival and departure, like in the airport, you see people when you're observing at the when you go to departures, there's a lot of tears of sorrow. But when you go to the arrivals, there's a lot of tears of joy. You see people, it's very good airports to see this, differences. People crying out of happiness, crying out of sadness as well. So this is where he says, Agama apayanaha. Everything in life has a nature of coming and going. It is anityaha. Everything is impermanent. It is transient, ephemeral, not constant. It is a fact of life. And what does he tell Krishna? What does he tell Arjuna? He says, Tan stitikshasva. Endure the pairs of opposites. It is like an endurance, a game of endurance. You tolerate the pairs of opposites, accept and then tolerate. Because understand, I don't call the shots in life. All the shots I do not call. And by understanding this fact, then I don't resist it. The problem in life is that we resist facts. The fact is a fact. Fact is, the definition of fact is that which cannot be changed, right? A fact is that which cannot be changed. Now, by resisting that which cannot be changed, Bhagavan says, look, who is the cause for sorrow? Not the pairs of opposites. It is your own reaction to them. So Gita helps us change our reactions to actions. We can take action, but we don't react. Reaction is an incapacity to accept a fact. So this assimilation, first verse is talking about assimilating the fact and learning to put up with unpleasant situations. In fact, there are many, many more things I can talk about. This verse, I could give one whole class for it, is that important. But we have a few more to, discuss. Adi Shankaracharya adds, as a spiritual aspirant, he adds a couple more qualifications, not just tolerating, not just enduring. He says, without complaint, cheerfully endure. Chinta vilapa rahitam, he says in Viveka Chudamani. Not this why me thinking. You should think, why not me? Good. This challenge is there to test me. This challenge, like a jet, a flight, a plane, to test its flight worthiness. It is put through so many endurance tests. The ice blocks are put into the jet engine, chickens. It is put extreme winds, extreme heat, extreme cold, everything, and then only it's ready, flight worthy to take off. The same way, human being put through many challenges, so spiritually we become resilient and we become strong. And as a spiritual aspirant, that is what Gita training is for. So chinta, without inside internal worry, and that how to avoid internal worry, Bhagavan tells later in the Gita. He gives a way of life to discover that. And also vilaparahitam, without constantly complaining, grumbling all the time about things.